It's easy to scoff at the UEFA Europa Conference League. After all, it's the third tier of European competition. A tournament many feel was created for the teams who couldn't quite make the cut for the elite stages. But let's get one thing clear, if Chelsea win the Conference League this season, they will achieve something no other football club in Europe's history ever has. And yes, that includes the giants of the game: Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, you name them. Because if Chelsea go all the way in this year's Conference League, they'll become the first and only club to have ever won every single UEFA club competition currently in existence. That's not just the Champions League, not just the Europa League, but also the now underserved Super Cup, the defunct Cup Winners' Cup, and of course, the Conference League itself. No other club can claim that. None. Let's break that down. Chelsea have won the UEFA Champions League twice, in 2012 and again in 2021. Two very different squads, two very different eras, but both moments forever etched into the soul of European football. They've won the UEFA Europa League twice as well, 2013 and 2019. And not just scraping by, those were dominant runs. Particularly that 2019 campaign, where they brushed aside Arsenal in a 4-1 demolition in Baku. Then there's the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, a competition that no longer exists but was once one of the most prestigious in Europe. Chelsea won that twice too, in 1971 and 1998. And to top it off, they've won the UEFA Super Cup twice, most recently in 2021. So if Chelsea win the Conference League, they will complete an unprecedented sweep, a full house of UEFA trophies. That alone makes this tournament, in this particular season, historic for the club. But there's more. If Chelsea make it to the semi-final of the Conference League, which they very well could, they'll also become the first club in history to have reached the semi-finals of every existing UEFA club competition. That's not a marketing gimmick. That's footballing legacy. Quarter-finals. Done. Semi-finals. Done. Finals. Multiple victories. Across all formats. That's what makes Chelsea's journey this season so unique. It's not just about bouncing back after a tough domestic campaign. It's not about papering over the cracks. It's about writing history. Because when football historians look back decades from now, they won't just remember Chelsea as a club with deep pockets or occasional success. They'll remember a club that conquered every European frontier available to them. And consider this, some of the biggest clubs in world football have never even touched certain UEFA competitions. Real Madrid have never won the Europa League. Bayern Munich have never won the Conference League. Manchester United have never won the Cup Winners' Cup and the Super Cup in the same era. Chelsea, they're about to have the full collection. Now, there will always be detractors. People who say the Conference League is meaningless. But football is a game of records, of legacy, of completing the set. And for a club that was playing second division football just a few decades ago, this is a monumental rise. Let's talk about perception for a second. The Conference League is often dismissed by fans of big clubs. But that's not what UEFA intended. This tournament was created to give more clubs across Europe a shot at European nights. But here's the twist: when a club like Chelsea enters the frame, the stakes are automatically raised. Because now, the competition holds a different kind of weight. You're not just beating a club from Belgium or Slovenia, you're potentially knocking out a two-time Champions League winner. That elevates the standard, and it also puts more pressure on Chelsea. Suddenly, the so-called easy route becomes a trap. Every opponent sees you as their final. Every away ground is a battlefield. But Chelsea embracing this challenge tells you something about their DNA. They don't see the Conference League as beneath them. They see it as another chance to compete. Another opportunity to etch their name into a record book already brimming with history. That's the mentality of a club that doesn't rest on its past glories. And it's not just about the silverware, it's about the narrative. Chelsea, a club that's been through ownership changes, managerial chaos, player upheavals in the last few years, they're using this competition to rebuild identity. To create momentum. To inject confidence into a young, promising squad. And what better way to do that than by lifting a European trophy? Because let's be honest, there's no such thing as a bad European title. Try telling that to clubs who haven't seen a continental final in decades. Try telling that to clubs with empty trophy cabinets, year after year. Winning breeds a winning culture. And lifting the Conference League could be the spark Chelsea need to reignite that culture again. Imagine the scenes, confetti falling, players celebrating, fans singing in the stands, not just because they won a trophy, but because they achieved something no one else ever has. A clean sweep of all UEFA competitions. The only club in the world who can say that. That's special. That's legacy. And that's why Chelsea winning the Conference League is a much bigger deal than people think. It's not just about the trophy, it's about completing the puzzle. It's about cementing their place in the annals of football history. It's about doing what no other club has managed to do, and may never do again. So the next time someone says, it's just the Conference League, remind them of the facts. Remind them that football is a marathon, not a sprint. That greatness isn't just about lifting the big trophies, but all of them. And remind them that history remembers those who finish what others merely start. Chelsea could become that club. The ultimate UEFA collector. And that, my friends, is a much bigger deal than it looks on paper. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories that go beyond the surface of the beautiful game, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started, and your support helps bring more football stories to life. So don't miss out, subscribe now, and join the journey.